Hi book friends, my name is Jen and this is week 3 of the amazing Readathon. Last week's Readathon was pretty hectic because we were out of town in Orlando for the whole week and I actually got more reading done than I thought. Now we're back home. I have to concentrate on book things and house things and a little bit of work things. But I should have plenty of time to get a lot of reading done in between. So let's update you on where we're at in the amazing Readathon. We are currently on leg 5 out of 8, and the prompt for 5 is an isolated setting. Now, if you watched last week's vlog, you will know that I picked up One Dark Window because I didn't know what the leg 5 prompt was going to be, but this book fit a lot of the prompts. It fits mental health representation, it fits isolated setting. So I did pick this one up and the leg 5 prompt ended up being isolated setting. So in this book, we are in a city or a town called Blunder, and they are shrouded in a mist. They are isolated from the rest of the world. There are also some settings within Blunder that are very isolated. Some old Gothic castles that are surrounded by an overgrown garden, for example. So this book is full of isolated settings. I am currently 50% done with this. I am hoping to finish this in the next 2 days. So that's about 200 pages. So if I can get 100 pages read today and 100 pages read tomorrow, I will be golden for leg 5. And even though this is not a book that is fitting any of the prompts because I did use it for the villain face-off, which I explained in my last video, I am 150 pages into the blue and I'm really liking it so far. And it's a lighter, easier read than One Dark Window. So I will probably get some of this read too, although it's not a priority. And even though this doesn't fit the Readathon either, I do need to stop neglecting Oathbringer. So I'm going to try to listen to a couple of chapters of this a day just to make a little bit of headway. I really want to be done with this by August because I'm trying to read a big chunky book, one per quarter. And this one is actually a rollover from the spring quarter of 2026. And in August, I would like to get to Alchemized. So I'm really trying to get through this book. This is a little side note because this is not a amazing Readathon book, but I love Brandon Sanderson. I loved Mistborn. I loved Warbreaker. I loved Elantris, which I know is not a popular opinion. And I just like the Stormlight Archives. They are not always gripping and calling to me. They are a little bit slower. Overall, I really like them, but as I'm reading them, they're just not as gripping. I have heard that the second half of Oathbringer is really, really good, that it's a banger, especially compared to the first half, and I am halfway, so I'm hoping that it starts to pick up. Because the Stormlight Archive is part of the whole Cosmere, and I do want to eventually read everything that Brandon Sanderson has written, I will push through these. I won't DNF them. It just takes me a lot longer than I normally would take to read a book. But I don't want to wait too long because I don't want to forget what happened. So that's my struggle right now with the Stormlight Archive. Something else that I really want to get to, I would love to get to one of these this week. Definitely this summer, but definitely I would like to get to it in June sometime. I have 2 of these. I got these both 2 Christmases ago. So these are like little book nooks that you build and then you put in your bookshelf. So I have this one, Bookshop Memories. This is by Cute Bee. And then I also have this one. It is Magic House. And this is by Roll Life. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. However, when I do build them, I think I'm going to build them and go live on TikTok. So if you're not following me on TikTok, all of my other socials are down below in the description. Follow me, look for my lives. I want to put these together and just talk to people about books for a couple of hours. All right, so I'm signing off for today, and I will get to some reading. Oh, also, on audio, this is my AirPod. On audio, I did start reading the new TJ Klune book, It Burns So Bright. I'm only 10% into it right now. I don't like the narration. It's like a older man's deep, deep voice, but he talks really, really slow. Even when it's sped up, it still sounds sort of slow. But it is only a 6-hour read. So if I speed it up, it should only be about 4 hours. I think I can manage. I don't know if that's going to fit any prompts or not, but it's okay if it doesn't. This is just what I'm going to listen to as I'm cleaning. So let's go clean my stovetop. All right, today is Tuesday in the 3rd week of the amazing Readathon, and I have some updates for you. I'm sorry if you can hear some whining, but my dog is very needy today for some reason. Whenever I record, this is what happens. Animals, 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 all over the place, animals. I do have a pretty busy day today, but I still should be able to get some reading in. So let's talk about my reading yesterday. I did not get to 75% of One Dark Window, but I did get to like 68%. And I'm really liking it. There are some points of the book where I'm just waiting for something new to happen. And I feel like after the 50% mark of One Dark Window, new things keep happening. New things are revealed. Elsbeth, who is our main character, she has this nightmare living in her head. And I won't go into detail about how this nightmare got there because I don't want to do any spoilers. However, she did just find out a very key piece of information about this nightmare. And to me, that just opened up so many possibilities. It made the world so much more interesting. It made the story so much more interesting. So I will definitely, if I don't finish it today, I will definitely finish it tomorrow. Pause, I need a drink. Something about me is I'm a teacher and I am on summer break currently. And I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. But I was addicted to, and am still addicted to, carbonated beverages. And so during the school year, I was having a Monster Energy every single morning. And I was also having a Dr. Pepper pretty much every single day as well. And I needed that caffeine to just like get me through the day, because if I didn't have it by like 11, 12 o'clock, I was falling asleep at my desk. And I really wanted to get away from that dependency on caffeine. So after May 22nd, which was my last day of school, I completely quit caffeine cold turkey. I do have an occasional coffee, but I have that just because I like coffee, and usually it's a chai tea, so I don't even know that there's that much caffeine in it. But I'm definitely not adding an extra shot of espresso when I go to Starbucks. But these have been a lifesaver. These are from Walmart, and they are a sweetened sparkling water beverage. And a lot of sparkling water, I think, tastes like ass. Like, it tastes horrible. I have to add extra sweetener to it. I'm like, what's the point? It's disgusting. These have just the perfect amount of sweetness, no caffeine, and no calories. So these are saving my life. I've had no caffeine, no energy drinks, no Dr. Pepper for almost a month. So I think I'm doing pretty good. Back to reading. So that was One Dark Window. Then I started listening to We Burned So Bright. This is TJ Klune's new book, and it came in from the library. It was a 6-hour read, and I did speed it up, so it only took me like, I don't know, 5 hours, 4.5 hours. The first half of the book, I had to actually stop listening to it because it was so dark and so depressing. And I don't mean just for TJ Klune, because I mean, I love TJ Klune. I've read almost everything that he has written. And this was the darkest thing that I've ever read by TJ Klune. So I did make a post on my social media about like, I'm only at the 50% mark and I need to take a break. And I had so many people say, you need to finish it. It gets better. You need to finish it. It's really important. So I did finish it yesterday. And the second half of the book was so good. So good. So important. Super important conversations around the LGBTQ community. Little doorways opening that show glimpses into the lives of our two main characters. So this story follows 2 men who are married. They're in their 70s. Roland and Dawn, I think that those are their names. And they sort of give grumpy sunshine energy, but I don't know, maybe that was just me. And it is literally the end of the world. There has been a black hole that opened up somewhere in the universe, and eventually Earth is going to be sucked into it. So at the beginning of the book, there's about 30 days. Scientists predict about 30 days until the Earth is sucked into the black hole. And as the book progresses, it gets less and less, and we hear about like, oh no, Uranus, we lost Uranus today, or whatever. And then the closer that you get to this elimination point, the gravity changes, and you get to hear about all of these different effects on the Earth that the gravity changes are having. So from a science point, it's actually pretty interesting. And this is just about these two men who decide, we only have 30 days left. Let's buy an RV and we're going to travel to this destination that's really important for us to get to. And I can't tell you where it is or why they're going there, because then I don't want to spoil anything. And it's about the people they meet on the way. So first half of the book, super dark, super depressing. Last half of the book, super good. If the whole book would have been like the second half of the book, it would have been a 5-star read. But because I had such a hard time with the first 50%, I did give it a 4 stars. And I'm not somebody who has trigger warnings. I can read pretty much anything. And this bothered me. This was really hard to read. So when I was finished with that, my plan was to go back to One Dark Window. However, I also needed to play on my Switch. I had a bunch of games. Well, I had a game, Disney Dreamlight Valley, which I've been literally playing that for almost 4 years straight, and I'm still not tired of it. I bought Hogwarts Legacy to play over the summer, and I haven't even started it yet. Anyways, I digress. So I wanted to play on the Switch, so I needed another audiobook. And right when I decided I needed another audiobook, I got a notification from Libby that The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances was ready via audio for me to listen to. So I listened to about 20% of that. And it is about a house who has a bunch of appliances. Most of them are smart appliances, like a smart vacuum and a smart fridge and stuff. And everything is run by the man of the household, his watch, his smart watch. So the smart watch controls the thermostat, and it controls unlocking the doors and turning off the lights and stuff like that. And all of these appliances, they talk to each other, and right away we find out that the man's wife is sick. And so this is just sort of like a view of changes of life, changes that a family goes through from the viewpoint of the appliances. So far it's really cute. And at the very beginning of it is my favorite book, To Kill a Mockingbird, is mentioned. So that was pretty cool too. So I have a bunch of errands to run today, and I do have a book show later on tonight. So I don't know if any of you know this, but I do sell books on Whatnot, which is a live auction app. It's how I pay for my daughter's college tuition. So let me turn the camera around real quick. All of these books are books that we have for sale in my shop, and I will have the link in the description below. It is a referral link, so if you sign up using that link, you'll get $25 credit. But these are all books that I have for sale. Actually, these are all books that I have to list in my shop. They're not for sale yet. And I also have to list all of these books and all of these books. But this is a majority of the books that I have for sale. So I have some errands to run, and then I'm going to come home, and I have a doctor's appointment to go to with my boyfriend, and then I'm going to come home and do a book show, and it's been over a week since I've done one. So I'm excited to jump back in and talk to people about books. That's it for right now. I'll talk to you later. I am coming at you from Thursday night, so I did not update you yesterday, but I do have a lot to update. So I did finish One Dark Window. I did give it a solid 4 stars. I'm really looking forward to reading the sequel in July, and I'm also really happy that it's a duology, just because I don't read very many duologies, and it's nice to be able to read a series that's sort of short and compact. Now, if you remember, I was reading One Dark Window because it did fit a couple of prompts that we had not seen yet. So I was going to save it for one of those prompts. However, today We did get another prompt, so our leg 6 prompt is actually multi-POV. And the book that I have chosen for the multi-POV leg is Love Galaxy. So I did get this, I don't know, a month or two ago in the Aardvark box. This is the first book in a series, The Imperial Broadcasts. And the little blurb on the back says, "Come for the reality dating show in space. Stay for the murder and sapphic yearning." So this will get me the LGBTQ bonus, and the author's name is in white. So that will get me another bonus. I'm going to start this one tomorrow. When I'm done with this, depending on how fast I finish it, I will either wait and hold on to One Dark Window for the other legs, or I will use it if it fits one of the sightseeing prompts. I don't know. But I do know that June has been an absolute banger of a reading month. I have been doing really well, getting through books quickly, sticking to my TBR. And I think that this readathon has really helped me do that. It has helped me stay focused on my reading, because even though reading is literally my favorite thing to do ever, I have a lot of distractions and I have a lot of other things that take my focus away. And so to have this competition keep pulling me back and pulling me back, I think has really, really helped. Now, why am I not going to start this today? Because I'm going to finish Into the Blue. I cannot use that for a leg, but I did use it earlier on to get some points for my team in the face-off, the villain face-off weekend thing. And I'm really liking it. I have less than 100 pages left, and I think it's going to be really, really emotional. There was a little bit in the middle. It's broken up into parts. And so part of the second part was good, but it was sort of getting to be a little bit redundant, because part of the plot is this TV show that's being filmed, and it's not really a TV show. It is some sort of improv deal, and I don't really understand what that means as far as a TV show goes. That's not Whose Line Is It Anyway? So it's like kind of loosely scripted, but it's improv. And so each chapter talks about what happened during the filming, and then what happens after the filming with the characters. So the part that was in filming, even though it is crucial to the rest of the story, I just was kind of bored reading it. I didn't really care. But once we got past that part, I'm still loving it. I'm loving it again. I think I'm going to cry. I think it's going to be an emotional read. I'm home by myself tonight, and so I'm going to just snuggle up into bed and get it done. I am also almost done. I'm about 75% done with The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances. I cannot remember if I talked about this already or not. I should have looked at what I've already recorded before I sat down. But the reason I picked this one up was because it reminded me of the Brave Little Toaster from the 90s, that cartoon that I absolutely loved. I even had Brave Little Toaster Christmas tree ornaments, and the electric blanket was my favorite, and that tracks because as an adult I'm always cold and I love my electric blanket. This is a 6-hour audio, and about an hour in I was like, this is good, this is cute, but do I want 6 hours of Brave Little Toaster? But I'm glad that I kept reading, because it did sort of take a turn. It reminds me of 1984. It also reminds me of a book that Ray Bradbury would have written. This is in the future. We don't know how far in the future, but pretty much the grid controls everything. There's one universal income. Nobody travels anymore. You have to have special permission to fly. And they say it's because they want to try to get the climate under control. This talks about books. I don't know if it's going to go the route of banned books or not, but it does talk about collecting books that they call artifacts and things from the culture of before. We have a character who is sort of kind of bucking the system. We have a gentleman who is just completely oblivious and is fine with the way things are and just living in peace and being controlled. And the part that the appliances play, it's so crucial. It's so endearing. I'm really, really liking this book. I will probably finish that one tomorrow. So I only have, I don't know, 2 or 3 days left of this vlog. I feel like before June, I'm going to read more than the books that I had planned for the amazing Readathon TBR, which is great. If I can get through my summer TBR in June and July, I'm going to take August and focus August on reading books on my Kindle. So I'm really excited about that. Anywho, I'm going to go to bed and finish Into the Blue.
Hey, what do you say? This whole town could be red by the end of the day. If you feel alright, we could throw it and drive. With the radio up so loud they can hear us from now.
Happy Saturday, everybody. This is going to be my last update for this reading vlog. So I am going to cut it a little bit shorter than a week. And that's because I finished a book and then I started another book. But there is no way that I'm going to get probably any reading done this weekend. Today is a really busy day. Tomorrow is Father's Day. We're going to go to the water park. And then I have a book show tomorrow night. So probably no reading in between now and Monday. So let's update you with what I have been reading. I finished Into the Blue. And I knew within the first 100 pages of this book that it was going to be emotional, that I was going to cry. However, I did not know the sobs that were going to come out of my body. I made noises. I had a very wet face. It was crazy how much I cried at this book. And I just so happened to be home by myself when I finished this book, and that never happens. A lot of the times, there's Violet. Hi, Violet. A lot of the times when I feel like I'm getting to a part that could be emotional, that I could possibly cry at, I get distracted or somebody talks to me and then it sort of like breaks the emotion there. But I was home by myself for this one, and I stayed up until 1 a.m. and I was just sobbing. I had a headache. 5 stars. Loved this book. Devastating. A book that I will definitely think about a lot. So I highly recommend Into the Blue. Then yesterday I did read 2 chapters of my next book, which is Love Galaxy. This is just the dust jacket because it's upstairs in my room. I don't really know what to think yet. It's only 2 chapters, but so far it's a lot different than anything I usually read, and I think I'm going to really, really like it. So my next reading vlog will start on Monday, and it will feature this book at the beginning, and then I will probably have already finished the, what is it called? The Small Appliances book. The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances. I don't have very long to go on that, so I'll probably listen to that in the shower or something this weekend and be able to finish it and then talk to you about it. Today I do have some pet sitting I have to do, so before this portion of the vlog, I actually inserted some B-roll from the future. So the B-roll that you just saw hasn't even happened to me yet. But I am doing some pet sitting this weekend. Then tonight I have D&D, which I'm super excited about. I've been playing with this group of people since the beginning of January. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of laughing. So let me show you my Dungeons and Dragons essentials. I have my dice bag. Clickety clackety, I roll to attackety. John bought this for me. And these are my favorite dice just because I love the color. So when I sit down, I look through all my dice and I pick which one I'm going to use for the night. I literally choose one set of dice at the beginning of the night, and then that's the dice that I use. I don't flip-flop back and forth between dice, or like if a dice is giving me bad rolls, I just stick to it. I just grab a color and I stick to that set for the whole night. And of course, every Dungeons and Dragons campaign that I go to, whether I'm DMing or I'm a player, I have to bring my trusty Lisa Frank folder with my extra paper for notes and my character sheet. And one of my favorite things, I had a student make this for me a few years ago. She made me a dice tower that looks like a bookshelf. And then it opens up like so. So I love this. This is one of my favorite things I've ever been made by a student. And I do keep my minifig inside. This is a figure. This is one of my characters from an old campaign, but it's the only minifig I have. So this is Rhapsody, my bard, and I'm currently not playing a bard. I'm currently playing a druid gnome named Spora, but I still use Rhapsody for all of my campaigns anyways. I thank you for hanging out with me for this reading vlog. This is my third one in a row, 3 weeks in a row. I've never done that before. I'm on a roll. I do plan on doing a fourth one, so I'll do one for every single week in June, and then I will take a break and just do one reading vlog in January for Summerween. As always, I appreciate your likes and your comments and your subscribes and your support and all the good things. I love coming on here and talking to you guys about what I'm reading. If you want to see book reviews and other bookish content in real time, you can follow me on my other social medias. They're all listed below. I'm having a really good time with the amazing readathon. I'm going to be sad when it comes to an end. I am going to look for some other readathons for future months this year. Also, stay tuned for a video about another year-long readathon that I will be starting soon. Can you guess what it is? And until the next video, happy reading.